situation sitting behind a freaking computer keyboard. You know what I mean?
It's like when you watch NFL football on Sunday. It's easy to say who sucks and who don't suck on Monday. But those guys get paid millions for a reason. They're doing something that we could never do.
Right.
At a level that we could never do it on.
Right. Absolutely.
So yeah, you could judge them because in your eyes, some of them are your heroes. Some of them are guys that you have respect for. So when somebody tells you that your hero is a guy who puts on his pants just like you do, and at the end of the day, he's not this prolific figure that you thought he was.
Right.
My God, I'm sure that there's a lot of guys out there that don't want to come to the realization that their heroes are just nothing but scumbags.
Right. Well, and it makes you wonder, like, why some of these old timers that are, you know, that are away to prison, why they kind of, you know, live like a, you know, by that old protocol. Like a guy like Joe Watts. It's like at some point you would just be like, man, I'm done with this shit. That life.
Yeah, but see, there's certain guys that see this unbeknownst to the public, what they don't know, is there's certain guys that are never going to get deals.
Right.
When they cooperate with the government.
Right.
Because they've done too much, and they've done too much damage for too long, and they're not gonna get a deal. You know,
right.
Andrew, you know it's funny because like when you were coming up, robbing was okay, right? Nobody thought that was wrong, right? So, it's just so funny how the mafia changed because like now that I was doing all the bad stuff, the robbery stuff, they'll call me a thug, a lowlife, all this stuff. I'm robbing bad guys. Andrew, I'm robbing other bad guys.
That's the whole idea.
Yeah, and they're saying that, you're going to their houses. I'm going to a gangster's house or a drug dealer. I'm tying them up and I'm robbing them. What's the problem? What's the problem?
Well, the whole idea is that it's just the act that they're against. But
Right.
the bottom line is that would they rather that person sell those drugs to their kids and have their kids skunk a bit overdose or something like that? It's a double-edged sword. You can't win for losing.
I was going to tell you that. I had a no wins. It was like this. This is God's honest truth. If I didn't cooperate, everybody wanted me to die in jail. That's what they wanted. They wanted me off the street, people complain about me. And if I didn't cooperate, I was getting life in jail. So they were getting it both ways for me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had no wins. They were calling up cops on me, everything.
For the things that we've done, when we were in the street and then afterwards, we're not going to get any medals for, and you don't want any medals for those things.
Right.
But you have to understand something, that no matter what it is, you could turn around and you could do so much good for the community from here on in and do some stuff. And they're still not even going to recognize that. They're never going to allow you to ever be that person. They're always going to rub the things that you've done, whether it be cooperating, whether it be doing these things before you cooperated. And that's what these people like to live in the negative.
Earned me positions with, you know, the hierarchy of our families.
Is that your title, enforcer?
Yeah, well, everybody knew me as, you know, as actually nicknamed the sheriff.
The sheriff?
It was a neighborhood kid came up with it and just followed me as a guy that was going to come around. And if you knew you saw me, you knew there was going to be violence or shooting of some sort.
Certainly a guy like yourself must be fascinated with trying to get inside their heads and see what makes these guys tick.
Well, you know, there's no logic to it, because if you're approaching it logically, morally, you say, how can you condone what it is that you do? Shakedowns, violence, stealing drugs, killing people. So it's hard, but when I talk to enough of these guys, the ones that delude themselves basically say, it's like I'm a soldier. He said, and I'm in a war, and the guys that are in this life with me know that violence is a part of what happens. If you break the rules, you're going to pay a price. I think that's the way they justify it in their head. And John A. Light, the principal figure in this book, bought into that for the longest time. And even today, he's still wrestling with, how did I become that guy? Why did I do what I did? I mean, he confessed to, I think, 6 murders, but he'll tell you, I've shot so many guys, probably some more of them died that I don't even know of. And he said, I've shot 35 to 45 guys. I baseball batted or piped another 100 guys. He said every day, he said, I can't remember all the crimes I committed. He's very frank about it. He doesn't try to sugarcoat it. He'll do well.
The Gotti family hate you so much. I mean, they want to buy some of my interview with you.
I guess I'm that important to them that they're willing to pay money to continue to chase after me. I think it's because I debunked the legacy of the Gotti family and the nonsense that the kids and the public believe. And one of those things is the Gotti Sr., a boss. It's almost unfathomable that the guy never shot a gun, but yet he was a boss of a major crime family in the United States. So, some of this stuff that the public doesn't know or understand, I brought to the forefront, and the Gottis obviously don't like it.
Nobody respects a guy like that. A guy like me, I was in the street doing things, so other organizations, other people respect me. They're like, oh, he's really doing it. He's putting work in. You know what I mean? So it don't matter what culture you are, we'll always respect each other. You know what I mean? So if you have a clown that is not a tough guy, they're gonna call you out on it. It don't matter what culture you are. There's tough guys in every culture, but they'll see a real one. And that's why a lot of people still say like, you out there doing the work. These guys weren't doing shit. So it's like people still got respect for me.
It's a different caliber.
Yeah, it's different.
You were facing life, bro.
Not only life, I was really out there doing things for these people, man. I wasn't, I was doing things.
What do you think the next 5 to 10 look like? I mean, personally, and I don't want to get to too much, but are you in a relationship? Are you married? Do you want to have kids?
Yeah, eventually,
something you want to do?
Right now, I got to work on myself.
How old are you, brother?
I'm 35.
It's a good age.
Yeah, I'll be 36 in June. I'm trying to just get everything right now. I got a lot of things going on, and I want to.
Listen, here's the good thing, right?
Then one of the soldiers in our area was going to get sentenced, and instead of getting 2.5 years, he got 3.5 years, and he got the extra year for being a made member of the Genovese family. He said, "I'm not a made member. How do you know I'm a made member?" So they came out with a 302 document that had, and Bruno wasn't an informant like that. I mean, he was like one of them, he would like to play. You know how that game is. They try to, like, certain guys try to get around feds and get information from them, like a Whitey Bulger, exactly. And that's a double-edged sword. You know how that goes. I mean, you get information from them, and then you don't like certain guys, and that's what happened. He seen this FBI agent at a fundraiser. Bruno was charismatic. He talked to people. He went up to the guy and he said, "Hey, what's up?" And why you guys busting our balls all the time? Why don't you go after drug dealers and this and that? And, we don't. So he goes, I got a job to do. You got a job to do, and this and that. So the guy asked him a couple of questions, and he asked him was his kid Emilio a made member of the family, and, how many guys that, were made. And, I mean, I know how Bruno was thinking. He's just thinking to lure him in and, tell him something, and then if anything, he can get information from him, because that's how Bruno was. He had the local DA for 20 years.
But Anthony, no matter what his intentions are, our laws are very strict and stringent. We know that if you sit with them, you talk to them, if you answer a question by them, you're labeled.
Well, he got killed for that.
A rat, and that's the end of it. And with you
he
guys,
got killed
the West
for that.
Side, and the West Side is. I think is one of the more stringent families out of the 5 families, where they don't give no bend or no break to anybody. I think that's one of the things that, in my opinion, gets Bruno killed. Obviously,
right. And the thing is, John, is that when the paper came out, naturally the kid had a beef with Bruno, and they had an argument. Then I saw the paper. I did see it. Then the paper went to the guy that they're going to put in Bruno's place, Felix. He's the one that called New York, had a sit down in New York, not me. He did. He went to another sit down where there was bosses there, and that's where they said to clip Bruno, not to me. They told him to clip him. I wasn't even involved in anything as far as Bruno getting clipped. But after a few weeks of going on, this guy wasn't capable of killing Bruno. He just didn't have a crew. He wasn't capable. He wasn't, and I'm out of it. I don't care. Like that's his business. Nobody told me to do nothing, so I'm not getting involved.
Well,
so
the people that don't know you, and Gene knows some of this history, is you didn't need it. I mean, you were already straightened out.
I mean, I had no reason to kill
big money. Yeah, you were already making money.
Right.
You were in a good financial position.
You had a violent crew, right? You had a violent crew.
I had the most violent crew in this whole area. I mean, it was
that's
like
good, because the Genovese family in New York is kind of like non-violent.
Not this. So bad. And you know this, Gene and John. Not only was my crew violent, we were all money makers. We all made millions of dollars.
Yeah, you had
my crew was big. Yeah, I had the the violent guys, and I also had the money makers, which that's what makes a good crew.
I even questioned, maybe I should have just killed myself. It was the worst moments I ever had in my life. I had so many bad moments. people dying and all kinds of things. But this had to be amongst one of the worst moments I ever had in my life. I don't even want to talk about it because I'm getting emotional again right now, and I don't want to even talk about it. I don't remember words. No, I don't know. I don't know. Let her explain it, what she felt or said. But that's how I feel right now. I don't even want to talk about it.
Once we take him out, there's no putting him back. This is life and death for him. We've got to talk. What do we think he's going to do? I mean, in my mind, this was the biggest threat to my case. My case was made. I didn't need a witness. These guys were all going to jail. Sammy Gravano can only hurt my case at that time in my mind, because he's somebody the defense attorneys can do all sorts of stuff with. You can't question a tape.
Comes one day, my name is on a list. When the place is packed, they do this thing. They rotate prisoners. They call it Otisville Run. They put 10, 12 prisoners on a chain, and they bring them to Otisville Prison to relieve the pressure a little bit. You stay there maybe a month or two, and then you come back. They put me on this list.
The logistics should be somewhat easy. You still got to keep it very quiet, because there's no doubt the minute the mob finds out this guy's cooperating, he's dead.
So a night came where they tell me, you're on the Otisville Run. And at the end of the night, they cuff me. They put me on the chain. There's about 10 guys, 12 guys in front of me on this chain. Each guy is leg chained together. I'm in the back. When we get down on the elevator, we're on the main floor. They stop.
Sammy was obviously deemed like the threat of threats. They were also concerned that this was a ploy for him to just escape from us. So now we're going into a series of conversations of logistically, where are we going to keep this guy? They wanted to just keep him in a prison cell, and I'm like, no, that's not going to work.
They take my leg chain off of that chain gang. They let the chain gang keep going, and two guys come out from the side in suits. They're FBI agents.
They take him out of his cell to bring him down. The whole MCC knows something's going on. And I think John knew within minutes that Sammy was out, and that can only mean that he's flipped.
When they take me out the side door, this big steel door, it's raining. I could hear helicopters in the background. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of flashing lights, NYPD, everybody's got their lights on, FBI agents all over the place. And there's a woman, a female guard, and she looks at me and she says, "Oh, no, Sammy. Oh, God, it's not you." It literally broke my heart. She obviously had tremendous respect for me, and it must have broke her heart to see that I was going out with agents.
I'm really, really good at it, and that's why he liked me. If I wasn't good at it, he wouldn't care about me. You know, that's the type of guy he was. And then when I would be away from him, I would try and have a normal life. You know, I'd become myself. Then I wouldn't be that other person.
So the real you is not.
It's not
the nickname that you don't like. It's not the mob. The real you is the easygoing family, yourself. That's the real you.
That's it, man.
Okay.
That's me.
That tells you the power of influence when somebody gets a hold of you. Now, what would have happened if your uncle was a businessman? Say your uncle was a doctor, he was an accountant, he was a financial advisor, and he was very, very good, and he decided to mentor you. Who would you have turned out to be?
Exactly what he was. That would have been really, and that would have been normal. That would have been my normal self. I wouldn't have to be somebody else that I didn't want to be, you know.